So in a recent interview on TV5, a network in the Philippines, Manny Pacquiao said some really stupid things about homosexual people, and it's created a ton of controversy for him. There's been a massive, massive fallout that ultimately led to him losing his lucrative deal with Nike. Now, as usual, I have some comments about this, I have some opinions, and I think it's time for a Montero rant. Before I get into this, I just want to set the record straight on the exact quote, because the headline that you're seeing going around the internet is Manny Pacquiao says gay people are worse than animals. Well, that's not exactly what he said. Here's the exact quote. It's just common sense. Have you seen any animal having male-to-male or female-to-female relations? If you have a male-to-male or female-to-female, then people are worse than animals. Let me set the record straight on this. I think the comments were stupid. I think they were ridiculous. I do not agree with them. Animals are better than people. Did animals create the internet? Did a kangaroo invent space travel? Did a walrus create penicillin? I mean, come on, Manny. You're reaching here. This is pretty stupid. I support people's right to feel the way they feel. But Manny Pacquiao should have the sophistication, not just as a politician, but as one of the most famous people in the world. Literally, it'd be hard to name 100 people more famous than Manny Pacquiao on planet Earth. As somebody that's such a big public figure, to say something this irresponsible, it's just stupid on Manny Pacquiao's part. And I do not defend the comments at all. What I take issue with is some of the hypocrisy and selective outrage that I'm seeing. Let's start with Nike, who just severed ties with Pacquiao after the comments. They've had a relationship with Manny for 10 years, going back to 2006. Now, they've known Manny was a fundamentalist Christian or evangelical Christian, whatever terminology you want to use, especially in recent years. Manny's really been upping the ante with some of this religious rhetoric, okay? And a lot of it's religious zealotry, and it's gotten more and more wacky in recent years. This is not the first time Pacquiao has said something controversial like this related to his religion. Nike has kind of looked the other way and turned a blind eye on a lot of this, okay? There's a lot of hypocrisy, in my opinion, because they have benefited from a 10-year relationship with Pacquiao and the seemingly hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars that have resulted from their profits in those markets that Pacquiao represents. It's not just Filipino Americans and people in the Philippines buying Nike products. It's the Asian markets in general. Manny Pacquiao is huge through his relation to Top Rank, and Top Rank exploring and expanding in the Chinese market. You're talking well over 1 billion people there. Nike has done very, very well with Manny Pacquiao, and they've looked the other way with some of his other controversial comments and actions, by the way, outside the ring. The guy has not been a saint, no pun intended, outside the ring for a long time. There's been extramarital problems and everything else, right? Well, now that they got the benefit of that huge exposure of the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight and all the Nike product placement during that entire promotion, one of the biggest promotions in sports history, okay? Now that Pacquiao is going into the quote-unquote last fight of his career against Timothy Bradley next month, which we all know it won't be the last, but supposedly it's the last. Now that he's at the tail end of his career, now that TMZ took this little soundbite from this interview on some obscure TV news station in the Philippines, plucked that and threw it on the Twitter sphere, now Nike jumps on and severs ties with Pacquiao. I understand it. I get it. They're a business. They have the right to cut ties with anybody as long as their checks to Pacquiao cleared and they fulfilled their contractual obligation to him. They have every right to do this. I'm just saying a little hypocritical. And I'm not even going to get into the Asian sweatshop history with Nike, okay? There's a lot of places we could take this. I'll just leave it at that. More hypocrisy from Pacquiao's promoter, Top Rank, who has basically stayed hush on this one, saying without saying, hey, we don't want to get involved in this because it's political, right? We don't want to get involved in this because it's politics. This is up to Manny. This is between him and the people. Here's the thing though, you go back about 5 or 6 years, they used Manny Pacquiao to campaign with certain politicians here in the United States that represented states that they do business in and get tax benefits and tax breaks in during that time, during these politicians' campaigns. So you use Pacquiao to campaign for a particular politician and a particular party here in the United States. It's beneficial to you politically. You could use Pacquiao politically then, but now where it's not advantage to you politically, you just kind of stay hush. Also, again, it's supposedly his last fight. He's on the way out. Again, I understand it. Top ranks of business. They represent a lot of fighters. And, you know, they got to do what they got to do, but it comes off a little hypocritical. None of this comes off as hypocritical and just more a case of selective outrage than some of the media reaction and some of the reaction of citizens here in the United States and around the world. I understand that people are offended by these comments, and they should be. Again, they were stupid comments. But I think we're having some selective outrage here. Here's a tweet from Magic Johnson alluding to the fact that he's never going to watch another Manny Pacquiao fight because of these comments. Now again, I get it. Magic Johnson has a gay son, right? He has gay family members. This is offensive to him. Totally understand that. I got you, Magic. But where were you a few years back when another famous boxer who's American and has the sophistication, again, to know he shouldn't be saying these things in a public sphere, said these comments?
About a year or so, I come off vacation, then, you know, we gonna cook that little young chump. We ain't worry about that. Because once I stomp the midget, I'm gonna make that motherfucker cook, make me a sushi roll and cook me some rice. I'm gonna take that motherfucker to the teppanyaki room and chop his ass up with some rice. You know how it is, baby. We gonna cook that motherfucker with some cats and dogs.
There you go. And this is just one little snippet of a very long video clip where Floyd Mayweather said a lot of very insensitive things, right? And Floyd has been known to say some racially insensitive things and some homophobic things. He also has a history of beating women. But we had no problem with that. We weren't boycotting Mayweather-Pacquiao, were we? Magic. Yeah. Selective outrage. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And if you're going to be offended by some idiotic comments Pacquiao said, you should be just as offended when other athletes in the same sport say equally stupid things, probably worse, to be honest, and do worse things. That's all I'm asking for here. That's my issue. Nike Corporation, Top Rank, Magic Johnson, other public figures, famous people speaking out about this, but ignoring other things. All I'm asking for, everybody, is consistency, okay? Let's can it with the selective outrage. Let's can it with the hypocrisy. Let's treat everybody equally, all right? Guys, let me know what you think. Comment below, share this video. I just had to get a rant out because when I see people telling me 2 + 2 = 5, I gotta correct them.